Hi everyone, I'm Vicky, and as you may have noticed, Steph is not here with me today, and that's okay. These videos will come up every so often. Sometimes we will be doing videos individually and sometimes we will be doing them together. We just want to make sure we provide you with content that is interesting and fun. You may be noticing a different background today. Well, then again, we haven't had a study background, but that's okay. So this background might be used more frequently for when I have story time to share with you guys. You may have been given a little bit of a spoiler last week. We did an unboxing for Eric Nam's album, and then at the very end we posted a video of his concert. Now, why did we do that? Because today I am here to tell you guys all about my experience going to Eric Nam's concert. So I did attend these concerts with Nikki, and so I'm sure she will have some insight she can put into on our social medias talking about her experience at the concert. But today I'm here to talk about my experience and how everything went. So it's the day of the concert. I have been waiting for this concert for weeks and weeks and weeks, and I was so excited because Eric is probably one of my favorite artists of all time. Like, I adore him and I adore his music, and I think he's so talented. So I was looking forward to this concert immensely. So here's a couple facts to know before we get into the whole story. First, we decided to go to two Eric concerts, one on Friday and one on Saturday, in two completely different cities. So that was the first craziness of this experience. Two, we got VIP for both concerts. So we arrive at the venue at our city, and it was freezing. I mean, it was so cold. So cold, because this happened in I think it was end of January, beginning of February, and I live in the Northeast, so it is really cold here. So we get in line, and within like an hour and a half, we are freezing, okay? Like, I start to not be able to feel my fingers and my toes. We were all like bundled up, and I had bought hot packs and everything. And we made friends with the people in line, as you do at K-pop concerts. So all was going well. And then we started having a little bit of an issue when it started getting closer to the time of doors opening, right? So my city was the only one that they actually decided to do the VIP before the actual concert, which put me in a complete nervous wreck, right? We started getting closer to the actual time that the doors are supposed to open, and they were taking forever to organize us, right? And the issue that I started having was I started to notice people, collect outside of the venue, towards the front of the line, which in my book is not okay, because there had been people there since early in the morning, like 7 a.m., who were at the front of the line, and there was people who were like me who had arrived somewhere between, like, I think I arrived at 1 p.m. or something like that, to a concert that didn't start till 7. Okay, that's 6 hours in line in the freezing cold. And there was people behind me who had been lining up for hours, and these people were getting off their cars and standing right there, which is big no-no in my book. Don't do that. If you're one of those people who do that, do not do that. It is not fair to everyone else who is standing in line. And I tried to tell people, I was like, get in the back of the line. Everyone is mixed. There's no specific line right now for VIP and regular. So just get in line like everyone else. Well, okay, so line was madness. I became a barricade at one point, and I was like holding people off so that people could get in. Like, the people who had been in line could get in without being cut. Anyways, so we're inside the venue. It's almost time to meet Eric. Now, I had no mental preparation for what was about to come. And because we were so close to the front of the line, we were like in the first, I think we were the third group to meet him. And it was kind of chaotic because we had made friends and we're like, okay, great, we're all gonna go together. Except there was two people in front of us who didn't have a group. And so the number was odd. And they had been going 5 people per picture, right? And so we get up, it's our turn, and they're like, oh, okay, we already have 5 here, and that cut off me and Nikki. So we were like, oh, okay. I was like, we were with them, and they're like, okay, then just go ahead. So they decided that 7 people for one picture was okay. I was not really happy with that because I was like, well, where am I going to stand? don't you worry, because I got a great spot. So we go up to Eric, and all I have to say is this entire video is pretty much just going to be a huge praise on Eric, because if you have not gone to his concerts or if you have not met him, he is an angel, okay? He is, Mama Nam taught him well. That's all I have to say. Because even though me and Nikki were the last ones to arrive for the photo, and he was already posing with people, like he had his arms around people, ready for the photo, right? He took out both arms from around the people, looked at us, he looks you straight in the eye, he shakes your hand, and he's like, hi, very nice to meet you. And I was just like, hi. And because it's Eric Nam, and I was like, I don't know what to do with myself. And he said hi to Nikki too, who was behind me. Well, I did a lovely little like squat in front of Eric. So my picture is me and Nikki literally squatting in front of Eric, because that's the only place that we could fit for the picture. So that happened, and since we were you know, at the very front of the line, we ended up getting barricade. Now this is my first barricade, probably for any concert ever, but especially for K-pop. And it was amazing. We were towards the end of the barricade, which I didn't mind, but the concert itself was incredible. He is so good live. You think the CD is good? Girl, live, he is better than the CD. I don't even know how that is possible, but it is. Live, he sounds so much better, and he already sounds good on the CD, so you can only imagine. And it was so much fun. I was losing my mind. Nikki has plenty of videos of me just like literally losing my mind because I'm having so much fun, and I think he's beautiful. And I was like, it was crazy. It was chaotic. It was so fun. And we danced along, we sang along, and here's the one thing I will say. Nam Nation, you are the best fandom out there. For reals. The fact that we would make friends so easily, and second of all, I was terrified of this. Being barricaded means you will get squished against metal bars. That's generally what that means. Besides the positive side. But the negative side is you will get squashed. Nam Nation didn't shove me once. They did not push. I did not get squished. And I even held out my arms to make sure that I had enough room in case I got pushed forward. When he came on stage, there was no rush. There was no running forward. There was no pushing. Everybody was super respectful. Everybody was in their spot, and they just enjoyed the show as it should be. And even when there was a part that Eric comes out into the crowd and like on the barricade, stands on the barricade, no one grabbed him. No one touched him. Everyone was just making sure he wouldn't fall. And it's funny because this is one of the videos Nikki has where I'm like, he came up, like I was super close to him. And I was like, I don't know what to do with my hands, because I'm like, I don't want you to fall, but I also like, could you grab my hand? That would be great. But no one grabbed him inappropriately. So again, Nam Nation, A+ as a fandom. Seriously, the best. Now, having the VIP happen before the concert meant that right after you take your picture, you get one of these, which is the tour poster, and his autograph is on it, right? I know I need to frame this. But getting it before the concert started meant that it was a terrible idea because we didn't have where to put them, right? So one of them actually ended up being stepped on and ripped, which is actually, Nikki has that one. And I wasn't so mad because I had the concert the next day that I would be getting another poster, so I was like, oh, I feel okay about this. But the fact that, you know, they didn't say that till the end or whatnot, like if that was the only concert people were going to, that really kind of sucked because there's a good chance their poster got ruined. But the positive is that we did get these. And I just want to say one thing about Eric, again, raving. Before We Begin is such an incredible album. If you are unfamiliar with Eric Nam or his music, I highly recommend you start with Before We Begin because it is his first fully English album. He is a Korean American, and so it meant so much to him to put out a album fully in English because he generally writes in English in the first place and then has to translate it into Korean. So the fact that he didn't have to translate it, and the fact that he could just release it in the language that he's been speaking most of his life, I feel like that was just so special. Plus, not to mention that I feel like literally he looked into my soul and wrote this album. That's kind of how I feel because I related to it so much. Anyways, back to the concerts. So the very next day, Nikki and I got in the car and we drove, I think it was about 6 or 7 hours to the next concert. I mean, we finished one concert and we jumped in the car and went to the next one. Like, this is crazy, okay? And we got a little bit delayed because of traffic and stuff, so we got to the next city at about, I think, 3 p.m. And this one started a little bit later. This one started at 8, and the VIP was after. So we were like, whew, okay, all right, we got time. But even so, when we got there was already a huge line waiting for him because it was Saturday, so people didn't have to work, you know, necessarily. And so people could line up. So we get in line. Again, we make more friends. We talk to more people in line. This is what we do. If you ever get to meet me in person, you will see I talk to everybody, especially at K-pop concerts. I get super excited, and so I start talking to everyone. So I was there, super excited, super like ready to go. For the first show, we went to the right side of the stage. This time we went to the left side of the stage, and it was about 3 or 4 rows of people in front of me. So I was still pretty close to the stage. Pretty good view because I was a little bit taller than everyone. I pretty much had an obstructed view to the stage, which was really nice. So the show happened. Again, an incredible show as always. And it was so much fun, and we danced and we sang. He threw water. I got baptized. Like, I got, you know, Eric Nam water all over me. It was great. And the show comes to an end, and I'm very sad about that because I know there's no more Eric Nam shows. And so we wait around for VIP time, and we see Bobo off at a distance. Bobo is their photographer. He actually has done a couple of other things. You might have seen his work. He did KCON LA 2019, and he'd been doing all of Eric's tour. I'm not sure if he'd worked with Eric on a previous tour, but his photography is incredible, and so I really just wanted to tell him that his work is amazing. So I, you know, turned over to Nikki and I was like, hey, there's Bobo, like, should we go say, I just want to go say something to him really quickly. Like I told you, I say hi to everybody, okay? I'm just really friendly at K-pop concerts because I'm super excited to be there. So we go up to him and I'm like, hey, like literally your photography is like my favorite concert photography, and like it's amazing. And he's like, oh, thank you so much, like that's really nice. And we were like, well, I mean, we weren't planning on it, but we were like, hey, like, can we take a picture with you guys? And they were like, yeah, sure. He was standing with one of the dancers. And so we took a picture with them, super fun. They're super nice, super sweet. And then off to a distance, I see like a swarm of girls around a person. And I was like, who's that? And I was like, oh my God, oh my God. I was like, that's Poller. Poller happens to be one of the dancers in Eric's show. And he is very cute. Very cute. So we go up to him and we wait our turn because there's a very long line of girls wanting to take a picture with him. And we say like, oh, hi, like you did such a great job. And he's like, oh, thank you. And then like he puts his arms around both of us and he turns over to me and he says, good to see you again. And I went, huh? I was not expecting this, like at all, was not expecting him to remember me. Like, you usually hope that the artist remembers you. You don't expect the dancers to remember you. Now, here's a little bit of a story that I forgot to tell you guys from the first night. So, while in the concert, there was a moment that I don't remember exactly the song, but like him and I made eye contact, and then like we danced a little with each other, and it was really cute and like really like just fun. And Nikki at that time looked over and she goes, what was that? And I was like, okay, good. I didn't just imagine that. You saw it too. And she was like, oh yeah, I saw that. And I was like, oh, okay, good. So I was really shocked that he remembered me. Literally the only word that came out of my mouth was, heh, because I didn't know how to respond. Okay, he's hot. How do you respond to that? I don't know. Poller, if you ever see this, thank you so much for remembering me. That made my night. Thank you. So then we stand in line, and this time we're towards the back of the line because we had been towards the beginning of the line the last time and it felt really rushed. So we were hoping that being towards the end of the line would give me a little bit more time because I had some things, that I wanted to tell Eric. So we're going along line. While we're in line, I'm like talking myself up. I'm like, you got this, you can do this. And I'm like really working on building up my courage to talk to Eric. And so it's finally our turn. And it's funny because like the security guard from the venue was standing there at the very beginning of the line, and he was like, oh, so who's the bigger Eric fan? And Nikki just points to me and she's like, it's her. And he's like, oh, you're not even like trying to compete for it? She goes, no, because I just know it's her. And I was like, yes, it's me. So it's finally our turn, right? And we go up and Nikki says, good to see you again, to which he looks very confused. Now here's a little bit of information that I just forgot to tell you guys because I am so excited. I'm just moving along, forgetting little bits of the story. So when we were in the first night, Nikki, while she was saying bye to him, said, we'll see you tomorrow. And he was like, what? He was like, well, I'll see you guys in a little bit, like on the show. And he looked over at me and I waved because I wanted him to know I was the other part of the we that she yelled out, even though, I mean, he was confused. It's fine. So when we went up to him the second time, right, Nikki goes, good to see you again. He looks really confused. At this point, I had worked myself up courage enough to talk to him instead of just, hi. So I was like, oh, we saw you last night. And he was like, oh, right, you guys did say you were going to come back. And I was like, yeah, we went to the show last night and we're here tonight. And he was like, oh, okay, cool. Which show was better? And I was like, how do you even answer that question? But in my head, oh, and I was like, they were both really amazing. And he was like, oh, thanks so much. And again, praising Eric, he's fantastic. He's a wonderful human being. If I could hang out with him all the time, I would. Eric, make it happen, man. Let's hang out, okay? Anyways, so we finished the picture. And while we're taking the picture, I'm like, okay, as soon as this picture is done, it's go time, right? I had prepped the other girls we were with, and I had told them that I had quite a bit of things that I wanted to tell Eric if that was okay. They both said it was totally fine. And Nikki obviously kind of had known I had been practicing my speech the entire car ride. So, she knew it was coming. And she said bye to him. And the funny thing with that was she said bye to him, shook his hand, and then they kept holding he kept holding her hand because I then interrupted and I was like, hey, can I say something really quickly? And he was like, yeah, sure. And at that point, Nikki was like, okay, bye. And I actually don't remember this part. This is because I've heard Nikki tell this story so many times that I know this happened. But when I looked at Eric, it was just like me and Eric, the rest of the world didn't exist. I was like, I don't know what's happening out there, but this just here. And that's the amazing thing about him, is that he gives you his complete and undivided attention, which as a fan makes you feel so special, and it makes you feel seen and heard, which is so important. And so he actually took off his earpiece when I said that, and I was blown away at this point because I'm like, you're serious, you want to pay attention to what I'm saying, which is incredible. What other artist does that? You know what I mean? And so at this point, Nikki's left. I hear in a faint distance the photographer and other person from his team telling us to move along, but Eric's not telling me to move, so I'm like, okay, focused here, right? So the night before we were actually in concert, he had talked about how he had thought about quitting because it had gotten to be too much sometimes. And so I just want to tell him, and I was like, hey, thank you so much for not quitting and for keep going. I was like, your music means a lot to me. I really love it. And so I'm really glad that you decided to stick it out. And he was like, oh, thank you so much. That means so much. And I was like, yeah. And there's a couple other things that I wanted to tell him. My friends all know. Wild story. And so, I say bye to him. Actually, I don't even remember saying bye to him. I just kind of walked away as I was talking because they kept telling us to move. But there was only maybe not even 10 people after me, so I was like, I didn't feel too bad. Now, if you're thinking I'm a horrible, selfish person because I took away all the time talking to Eric, I'm not that horrible, okay? The girls didn't know this was happening. I apologized to them profusely afterwards because I felt bad that I took up all the time. And they were like, honestly, we didn't even know what we were going to say to him, so you're totally fine. And we're friends now. So, you know, it's fine. It worked out. And overall, the concert was amazing. If you have a chance to go to an Eric concert, do it. Trust me, do it. He's incredible live. He's a great performer. Now, if by any chance in this world, Eric Nam decides to watch this video, Eric, you are an incredible artist. You are amazing, so talented, but also as a person, you're so down to earth and so wonderful. And Nam Nation loves you so much and respects you, and we feel blessed and honored to be your fans because you make it so easy to be your fan because you're so wonderful. Promise I'm not gonna cry. But I just wanted to say that you are incredible and amazing, and Nam Nation's gonna keep supporting you for life. I'm in this Nam Nation for life. So as long as you want to keep making music, we are here to support you and love you and be by your side. Now, speaking to everyone else, if you have not heard The Other Side, his newest album, please go listen to it. It is incredible that he can get beats that like you wouldn't even think of and make amazing music with it. So Paradise is the single, The Other Side is the album. If you have not heard Before We Begin, please go listen to it. I can't stress this enough. It is an incredible album. They both are. And literally, if you're new to Eric Nam as a whole, please go listen to him. He is amazing. Trust me, you won't regret it. Plus, he has a million other things going on too. He has podcasts going. So you can find Eric in whatever form of entertainment you enjoy. Either hosting or podcasting or music. He's everywhere. He's wonderful. And I think I've talked on long enough with this story time. So thank you so much for listening if you've stayed this long. And I will see you guys next time. Bye!